think I was 7 or 8 years old. I was so hyped. I said, yeah, Christmas is coming. But I told myself, you know what I told myself? I said, yo, how's Santa gonna come in the projects? I ain't got no roof. This is me as a child. I'm like, yo, I ain't got a roof. How's he gonna come in the projects? So I waited till my mother went to sleep and everybody in the house went to sleep. And so what I did was I left the front door open, right? And I opened up all the windows so he could figure out a way to come in, right? And so I woke up in the morning, right? We didn't even have a Christmas tree, let alone. We had like a flower pot in the corner somewhere. So I woke up one morning, I'm like, yo, because I wanted something so bad. I forget what it was. I think it was like a Nintendo or a Sega Genesis at the time. I was so amped. And I knew my mother wasn't going to get it because we didn't celebrate Christmas. You know, as a Levite, you know, that Christmas stuff was like, it wasn't even like serious. Like we were still trying to, listen, Levites were battling ISIS in the late 80s, early 90s. You see the ISIS that they got for the Hispanic brothers? Mm-hmm. They had it for the Hispanic brothers and the Levites that were coming into the country. Because I remember this, right? I'll give you an example. I remember we was in Central Square in Cambridge, right? And there was a building full of refugees in that building. And they raided the whole building, right? So when they raided the whole building, all like my mom's, my aunt, everybody just dipped out. My uncles, they all ran out the house, right? And they left me behind, right? Forgetting that I wasn't with them, running with them. And so my aunt had to come back and grab me up and run out with me. She's the one that came back and grabbed me up. She tells me this story all the time. But what I'm saying is this, is that there was a time where, you know, it wasn't, you know, that ISIS thing is nothing new, you know what I'm saying? For the Hispanic brothers, you're seeing it now, you know what I'm saying? Considering that, you know, Chinese people are the biggest immigrants in the country, but they're still targeting our brothers. But not to digress from what I'm saying, I risked my whole family by leaving the door open to the crib and opening up all the windows, thinking Santa was coming. And guess what? It was a disappointment. And it was at that time I believed that Santa didn't exist. And guess who I pictured in my mind to come and show me love? A white man. A fat white man coming down my window. Coming down my chimney. You know what I'm saying? That's who I pictured as someone that was going to show me love. Because to me at that time, you know, when you're going to school, right? I didn't grow up with Christmas, but when you're going to school, you see everybody celebrating it, everybody talking about the gifts that they're going to get. And as a child, it's like, damn, I want some gifts. And you start to think that this is how love is. You start to think this is the only way that you can be loved is through gifts. And then what do you do when you turn 15, 16? You start selling drugs. You know what I mean? But go ahead. Let's keep reading on this one.
Oh, that was happy. Oh, the scripture?
Mm-hmm.
The scripture. I'm gonna say that was it.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said what?
On the two Babylons.
Under the two Babylons. The reason of this, he adds, I should suppose to be that Saturn is not among the celestial, but the infernal gods. Plutarch.
What did he say? Saturn is not among the celestial, but of the infernal gods, right? Notice how they pluralize that, right? Because you see, in every other society, there's more than one god. We're the ones that originated monotheism, the Israelites. Every other nation in the world was worshiping many gods. Go ahead.
Salaki. Plutarch, in his book of summaries, says that the Romans looked upon Kronos as a subterranean and infernal god.
Kronos is another one. Go ahead.
There can be no doubt that this is so far true from the name of Pluto is only a synonym for Saturn, the hidden
All
one.
right, so go to give me go to 4 now.
But what?
Under the fine, go to 4.
What, the fourth source of Saturn?
Yeah. Give me that.
In Rome, a similar observance had evidently existed, for a boar formed the great article at the feast of Saturn.
So what was the head of the feast? What was the highlight of the feast? Swine. Let me tell you something. There's 2 things America runs off. What are the 2 things?
Ham.
Ham and what? Look, she got it up. She's trying to tell you.
America
Coffee.
runs on donkey.
Coffee and bacon. Right. That's the 2 things that America runs on. Right. Right. And I'm not trying to give a promo, but it's true. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Boar formed the great article at the feast of Saturn, as appears from the following words of Marshall.
Go ahead.
That boar will make you a good Saturnalia.
Let me tell you something, brother. When you eat that Christmas ham or that boar or whatever, here's what you're doing. You are worshiping a god. You are eating on behalf of your God. Go ahead.
I remember growing up, and we went to an uncle's house who was a so-called Muslim. We went to go celebrate Christmas at his house as a family. The whole family went over to his house.
Go ahead.
And one of the women said, "This is not Christmas without no ham."
That's right.
I remember that growing up because, you know what I'm saying, the argument was so pointless to me growing up. Like, they argued about food. We got all this food here. My uncle owns a restaurant in Jersey.
So he brought all that
And
food.
he got all this good food.
Go ahead.
And y'all complaining about some damn ham. He had catfish.
So, man, you know what it is?
He had all types
You know
of
what it is?
laws.
Here's what it is. It's a spirit. It's the Christmas spirit.
Come.
And it might be hard to be understood for someone that's not in the school, but I'll give you an example. During Thanksgiving, right? Let's say you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But for some reason, a week before, you decide you want to cook a lot of food. You know what that is? That's the spirit of Thanksgiving. You still have it in you. And it takes time to get it out of you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, some of the brothers, they're like, you know what? I'm just going to eat a cheese sandwich that day. You know what I mean? Quite frankly, I'm just going to keep it normal. I'm going to eat whatever I can get. I get a 2-piece chicken and I'm done.
Cup of noodles.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? I try not to think of it as, I try not to acknowledge it by saying I'm going to, you know, I just keep it normal. This is what I, yeah, but go ahead.
Count out of one count. Hence, the boar's head is still a standing dish in England at the Christmas dinner.
All right, give me
Salaki, sir.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's an open admittance that there's a connection between Saturnalia and Christmas. Because even today, they uphold that same tradition of the boar's head.
In every household.
In every household in England.
Give me, I like this book. I mean, I haven't gone through the whole thing, but give me, go ahead.
Daddy,
Yeah.
can I read?
She wants to read something.
I read so bad. Last time it was fine.
Okay, let me get First Maccabees 4. I'll have you read that. Rock, help her out. Just sit with her and just help her read it. All right. You got your head. You got. What's your head think? What I tell you about that? The Bible says to train up a child the way they should go, and they should not depart from it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, you know, you might come into this truth after having the child, and the child is used to something that is, stay on that side.
What did you want to get, sir? First Maccabees what?
Give me First Maccabees 4. Salakia.
First Maccabees 4.
Jump to verse. Salakia, let me just. This is a long one, so. Salaki, bear with me, y'all. Salaki, let me just get that real quick, all right? Give me 1 second. Give me 2 Maccabees 4 and 14.
2 Maccabees 4 and 14.
Yeah. Start at verse start at verse 11. 2 Maccabees chapter 4 verse 11. Go ahead, Freddie.
Okay. Verse 11. Let's say it loud. 2 Maccabees.
Freddie, help her out too with some of that. Freddie, sit on that side real quick.
No, I'm going to there.
Yeah, go. Yeah, stay right there. Speak up though, okay, Freddie?
Okay.
As loud as you can, because the mic's way down here. Some speed pacing there too.
Okay. And the royal, First Maccabees 4:11.
2 Maccabees 4 verse 11.
Yeah. And the royal Pergillus granted a special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of
Hippolytus.
Apollos.
Now, keep in mind, right, our black and Hispanic leaders are always looking for a special favor from our oppressors, right? And as they look for those favors, right, what happens is it starts to destroy what we call integrity, what we call honor. And a person can lose integrity and honor when they don't stand for what they believe anymore, when they don't stand for the principles that can correct a nation. And so this man John, the father of Hippolytus, he was granted a special favor to the Jews, right? So he went to this king, but keep in mind when you're dealing with your oppressor, he's always going to want you to fashion after him. And so if he's going to give you any favor, it's going to be according to his will, according to his liking, according to his customs. But go ahead.
Who went ambassador to room of
Amity.
and aid.
And what do we do when what do we do? We always seeking aid from our oppressor, right?
Okay.
We always seeking amity from our oppressor, right? Meaning, what does the word amity mean? It means
I don't know how to phrase it.
what it means is you're trying to be friends with your oppressor. You're trying to build a friendly relationship with your oppressor, right? And this is what Israel has been doing in America. Our black leaders have always been trying to seek favor from our oppressors and always tried to build a friendly relation with our oppressors. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, let us separate and come together and gather ourselves together, What we decided to do was we decided to seek their peace. This is where that comes from. Rock, I want you to get that seek their peace in a sec. But go ahead.
He took away and put it down to the government which were according to the law.
Who are the governments according to the law? Our judges, our priests.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? According to the law prescribes to who? Israel, right? He took down, right? And he took away the putting down of the governments, meaning our priesthood, our the governments, our judges, right? He took that away. He took that down, meaning this. What we got to understand is that the people that are in charge today of black and Hispanic society, black and Hispanics, they've been bought out. Our politicians have been bought out, right? Anytime you see a black or Hispanic politician in you know what I'm saying, understand it's a mouse in a cat's game. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a mouse in a cat's game. Black people cannot join American politics. You know what I'm saying? Either they've been paid off. Keep in mind, they have a job, right? Anytime you have a job, guess what? You have a boss. And the boss tells you what to do. But go ahead.
He brought up a new customs
You said it right.
against the law.
And that's what the Grecians were doing. They brought up a new custom that went against the law. Here's a custom. You can no longer, from now on, you have to sacrifice pork in the temple. You can, go ahead. Tolerance. Oh, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, a new custom against the law is, guess what? It's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. It's Valentine's Day. It's every American holiday. That's a new custom against the law. And America has this sort of pressure on you to gravitate you towards their customs, their fashions. You know what I'm saying? That's the pull, the gravitational pull that America has on you, that you can't withstand. You know what I'm saying? Because the forces are against you. Christians are against you. The people in the world are against you. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, keep reading.
112?
Yep.
Okay. For he built gladly a place for
exercise
under the tower itself.
Let me tell you something, right? He built a place of exercise. That's your stadiums that you see today, right? That's your football stadiums. That's your basketball arenas. That's your boxing rings, right? And here's the problem. We live in Boston, Massachusetts, right? The problem in Boston, Massachusetts, the reason why it's a challenge to get brothers up in here, number one is by the Lord's mercy. But number two, this is a sports nation. If you ain't talking Tom Brady, ain't no brother or sister want to hear you. If you ain't talking something that has to deal with a place of exercise where people can go and fight and play sports, that's the difficulty out here in Boston. You know what I'm saying? This is sports nation. They call it sports nation for a reason. And so what do black people, when they go to bars, try to do? They try to talk sports with who? White people. That's what they try to do. They try to talk sports and try to fit in, and their pitch, their tone changes. They start to act brand new. But here's the problem, right? Before you get on that, here's the problem. Black people are against police brutality. Black people are against the oppression that they're going through. They're against that. They're really against that. But here's the problem. Keep reading.
And brought the chief young men under the subjection.
Why did he bring the chief young men? The young men, not the old men. Listen, if you can get the minds of the young men who are going to be the future leaders of Israel, why would he do that?
keep us further under his subjection.
That's right. And keep reading. And what did he make them wear?
Continue, sis.
What did he make them wear? And made them wear a hat.
Make America great again. What did he make them wear?
A hat.
Now, what kind of hat is this?
White hat.
A hat according to the enemy's custom.
A hat according to the enemy's customs. Kanye West. He made them wear a what?
A white hat.
Guess who's wearing white? Guess who's wearing Make America Great Again hats?
We are.
Young college students who are going to be the chief men of
A
Israel.
lot of them.
They're all wearing MAGA hats. Make America Great Again. They're joining the army. They're joining the police force. Keep reading. Let's go a little further.
Okay. Okay. Now such was the height of a Greek fashions.
Go ahead. Which is what we've acquired today. We've acquired Greek fashions, right? Go ahead.
An increase of heaven.
Heathenist manners. Let me tell you something. Heathenist manners is the worship of false idols. Heathenist manners is adultery. It's homosexuality. It's the drug epidemic that's going on. Go ahead.
Even chasing that bag is a heathen.
That's a heathenist manner, right? For the love of money is the root of all evil. You know what I'm saying? We've come to love money, and we swear we love each other. We will kill each other for $20. Come on, man. Go ahead.
The executing
Through the exceeding profaneness.
of
Jason was a god that the Greeks worshipped, right? And I want to tie it in. I forget which god I can tie it into, but it more likely associates with every other society's god. There's always a way to tie in all these gods. You know what I'm saying? It just reformulates during the different societies. It comes under a different what is it called? Facelift in different societies. Go ahead.
The ungodly, whether and
Wretch and no high priest. So this man Jason considered himself to be a high priest. He was not a high priest at all. But go ahead.
and not high preservus.
Give me 14. This is the one I need.
That the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar.
At the altar. Let me tell you something, right? There came a time in Israel where a priest had no more courage to serve at the altar. And I want to tie this in with brothers that come into this truth. That a brother will come in strong in this truth, right? Yahba Shemir Sabrakatah. You know what I'm saying? He'll come in strong in his truth. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to do the work. But then that new brother that comes in, when Christmas comes around, this is when he's going to get tested. This is when he starts to lose courage. And he starts to say, and he starts to wear the Christmas sweaters. He starts to ring the Christmas, that little bell. What's that little bell they got? He has that little bell. You know what I'm saying? This is when he starts to lose courage, and he starts to what? He leaves Salakia. He serves no more at the altar, because that's how powerful Christmas can be. But go ahead. But despising the temple, he starts to despise the school. He starts to speak against the school and say, well, I like everything I was hearing, but there got to be something about Christmas that they're wrong about. Like, what's so harmful about Christmas? Just that and a third. And he starts to neglect, he starts to despise the temple. He starts to despise the school. Go ahead.
And neglect the service.
Neglecting the sacrifices. Keep reading.
Sacrifice hasn't to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in a place of
Exercise.
In a place of exercise, right? No, so basically he starts to become part of the world. He starts to join and put himself in a position where where the Most High is against him, where he put himself in a position where he's going back to, what do they say? A dog goes back to his vomit. He starts to go back to his vomit.
Ew.
Right? Go ahead.
After the game, he decided
You're right.
Of discus.
Discuss.
called them forth.
You read 15 and we're done.
Okay.
Last one.
Not setting by the horde,
The honors.
the honors, or their
Let me
fathers.
tell you something. Their fathers did not worship Christmas. Their fathers did not worship these idols. This is what they're saying. He's like, your fathers don't even know these gods. They don't know who Saturn is. They didn't take part in the games of Saturnalia. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind, you say you love Christ, right? Right? But you are keeping Roman customs. And guess who killed Christ? The Romans. So the next time someone as someone asks you, so why don't you celebrate Christmas? You know what you tell them? Just say, hey, the Romans killed Christ.
Right.
And I don't celebrate a Roman holiday because they killed Christ. Last one, actually. Give me 16. We got 2 minutes. Give me 16.
Hold on, I haven't finished verse 15.
Yeah, go ahead.
But unlikely the glory of the
Grecians.
Grecians best of all.
And that's what we've done, man. We've taken on the glory of the Grecians. You know what I'm saying? This is all they're doing. Listen, white Christmas is not for black people. Think about the term white Christmas, right? What has white people, what has our oppressors stigmatized white as? And what have they stigmatized black as? White is what? Pure. And black is what? Evil, right? White Christmas is for our oppressor. It is not for us. We should not be, counting on white Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that it's going to lead to what? Keep reading. Last one.
Okay. By reasons whereof sore calamity came upon them.
And keep in mind, right? Now, us celebrating Christmas, we're going to pay for that. We truly are going to pay as a nation for serving idols. We're going to pay for it. And calamity is going to come upon us. Right? Keep reading, Freddie.
For they had them to be their enemies and avenge.
Now, keep in mind, these people were what? They were our enemies. Right? Keep reading.
Whose customs their followed so earnestly.
And that's what we follow their customs so earnestly. We're willing to sacrifice our freedom to make sure that child gets a gift, that woman, that we please the God of your woman, right? Last one. Unto whom?
And unto whom their
desire
to be like in all things.
And we desire to be like our oppressor in all things. Whatever holidays they celebrate, we desire to be like them. And keep in mind, just to finish off, right? Understand one thing, is that there's no gain in celebrating Christmas, but there is death that must come. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the Lord has to purge out those that are creating sinners and keep alive those that are creating righteous men. But go ahead.
Salaki, so it's heavy that you brought up this scripture because I was looking for the scripture after this for the past month.
Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Bring it tomorrow. Explain it better tomorrow, please. I don't have time, so I rushed through it. With that, we're gonna close the class. Tune in tomorrow. Officer Rock is Rakar Riyah is teaching Brotherhood class tomorrow. Tie yourself into this, ground yourself into this truth. Do not let the pressure of Christmas, the spirit of Christmas, infiltrate you. Remember, the wages of sin is death. And with that, shalom.